So the Mardi Party kicked off a little early tonight in downtown Beaumont, a sold-out crowd for the mardi-gras celebration at the Civic Center. A great night of fundraising for Southeast Texas Circle of Hope, the organization that supports Southeast Texans through hard times, whether it be hospital bills, funeral expenses, or any other difficulties life may throw their way. Good evening, Southeast Texas. It's good to be with you tonight. This is the 8th year of this big Mardi Gras themed fundraiser. All of those funds going back to supporting Southeast Texans. Circle of Hope founder and president Emmett Hollier is happy to report they had a sold-out crowd of more than 1,200 people tonight.
It makes us feel good. You know, we put a lot of time and effort. None of us on the board or on the volunteer staff get paid for this job. It's because we want to. It's our heart. It's our duty to give back to those that not as blessed as we are.
While it was important to raise money tonight, they also did it by having a good time. Live music, good food, good people there at the Beaumont Civic Center, and they're also getting in the Mardi Gras mood. Let's turn things over to the storm trackers now to get a look at that weekend forecast. You might have noticed today much warmer than in recent days as we look outside live on the Roofing 911 Sky Cam network at our 12 News studios. I'm in the Storm Tracker Center right now with meteorologist Carrie Cooper. Carrie, it's getting even better too as we go to tomorrow.
It really is. You know, we reached the 60s as expected today. We're going to add 10 degrees to that. That's right. How about 70s tomorrow? Low 70s. Going to be nice out there now. Another cool night tonight, but not nearly as cold as last night. Our Roofing 911 Skycam network. Beaumont brought to you by Packard and LaPrade. Temperatures running in the mid to upper 40s. We have 47 in Beaumont, Silsbee, 45 in Jasper, and we have light southeast winds off the Gulf. May see a little bit of patchy fog later tonight as well. We'll drop a couple of more degrees tonight. The temperatures should begin to level off. Let's take a look at Futurecast overnight. A few clouds, temperatures dropping to around 44, 45, and kind of increasing a little bit as we head toward daybreak. So with southeast winds off the Gulf, partly cloudy skies tomorrow, should be even warmer across Southeast Texas. We'll talk about how warm it'll be early next week and the rest of your forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
And new this weekend, a street racing incident in Chambers County turned deadly today along Interstate 10. Sheriff Brian Hawthorne with the Chambers County Sheriff's Office says it happened this afternoon. Their office was getting calls for street racing on Interstate 10 towards Winnie. When deputies responded, they found this sports car crashed out on the side of the interstate. Sadly, they found a driver behind the wheel dead. The Sheriff's Office hopes this can serve as a reminder that street racing kills, and right now the identity of that driver has not been released.
Land where my fathers died.
The beautiful voice of Richard Perkins singing today at the Port Arthur Public Library. Perkins was leading a presentation on the life and accomplishments of Paul Robeson. Robeson was a singer, actor, and key activist in the civil rights movement. It's just one of many ways Southeast Texans are celebrating Black History Month. Perkins says it was an honor to be the presenter of Robeson's accomplishments today.
Robeson was one of those that preceded Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King and some of the other advocates of civil rights.
Dozens came out for the presentation today at the library, and they also gave out awards for Black History honorees. A new Black History Museum at Lamar University is inspiring future engineers. The National Society of Black Engineers put on this display with Dr. Freddie Titus from Lamar's Division for Diversity and Inclusion. Students tell 12 News this not only serves as inspiration, but also a reminder of the leaders who paved the way for them.
We're just going to have a nice wall with community leaders and national treasures showing their background and what they did to give just great examples to the freshmen, to sophomores, or even the juniors.
You might see somebody that you can relate to, and it's just encouraging for the students.
And if you'd like to check out that exhibit, you can visit the Cherry Engineering Building. The display is on the 2nd floor, and it's open during normal campus hours all month long. Tonight, Governor Abbott has issued an ice storm disaster declaration, hoping to free up resources to help those with property damage and those who still don't have power. This morning, Austin Energy said restoring power could be a multi-day effort. They say equipment that needs repairs could be in hard-to-reach areas or even buried underneath debris. Austin Energy says since the start of that storm, they've restored power to 256,000 customers. Again, that storm starting earlier this week, still having lasting impacts. Democrats announced the party will make South Carolina the first presidential primary voting state in the upcoming election. The move officially dethroned Iowa and New Hampshire from leading off the presidential primary. Michigan and potentially Georgia will also join the early states in the biggest shakeup of the presidential primary in years. But the calendar is still not final since it's up to those states to change their dates to comply. The move was partially recommended by President Biden. A major cleanup is underway in East Palestine, Ohio, after a train derailed and sparked a huge fire on Friday night. Officials say 50 cars carrying hazardous materials derailed around 9 o'clock last night. The wreck causing this massive fire and forcing a fire response from 3 separate states, also an evacuation for everyone within a 1-mile radius. Officials say no injuries or deaths have been reported so far, and the EPA has found no problems in the air quality in the area. An investigation continues into the derailment. An F-22 fighter jet firing a missile today at the Chinese spy balloon, taking it out of the sky. It was a shoot down off the East Coast after it flew over sensitive military sites in Montana, and it led the FAA to shut down flights at 3 Carolina airports this afternoon. China insists this balloon was a civilian aircraft and the flyover was an accident. But now China is threatening further action in response to today's shoot down. Right now, recovery efforts are underway to figure out what that balloon had on it. Here's ABC's Derek Dennis.
U.S. authorities searching for debris in the Atlantic Ocean after shooting down a Chinese surveillance balloon. Navy and Coast Guard ships establishing a security perimeter in U.S. waters. Earlier in the day, an F-22 firing a single missile, separating the payload from the balloon and plunging the 2 more than 60,000 feet into the Atlantic Ocean in U.S. waters.
They're going to be looking for the sensor package that was underneath that balloon. Remember that the administration said that this was a spy balloon, and so what was being used to spy? Was it cameras? Were there signal intelligence capabilities?
The operation kicked off just after 1 p.m. Eastern Saturday, with the FAA closing the airspace for parts of the Carolinas.
Due to national security, all aircraft are instructed to land as soon as possible.
Roughly 90 minutes later, the jet successfully taking out the balloon. President Biden, who approved the operation, praising the effort.
Ordered the Pentagon to shoot it down on Wednesday as soon as possible without doing damage to anyone on the ground. We decided that the best time to do that was when it got over water.
The enormous balloon drifted for days, first entering American airspace over Alaska before heading southeast over Montana, Missouri, and the Carolinas. In the wake of the balloon shooting, the Chinese government threatening repercussions, calling it a serious violation of international practice.
But the real question here is why the Chinese decided to deliberately provoke the U.S. to go into sovereign U.S. airspace just before the first high-level meeting between 2 senior officials in years.
Derek Dennis, ABC News, New York.